So, we just got back from seeing Alita Battle Angel in 3D. And the movie's over, guys. We can take off the 3D glasses now.
Welcome to Cinema Gulp. I'm Bobak.
And I'm John.
And I'm Ben. So, guys, let's talk about not just Battle Angel Alita or Alita Battle Angel, but Battle Angel Alita 3D.
I didn't really get much out of the 3D, to be honest.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it's there. It's that depth that we've seen in other 3D films, but I don't think they utilized it all that well.
We were talking about how its use of 3D being more subtle, where it's not things being thrown at you, and that's what we liked about it because it just added so much depth to everything.
That's the right use of 3D by all these filmmakers that have done it over the last 10 years or so.
I was really, really happy that you guys wanted to see it because that meant that it was done well. And like we were saying, one thing where they don't have a lot of objects coming at the viewer, I think I counted 2, and I stepped out for a bathroom break in the middle.
Oh, there was like 14 during that second.
Yeah, exactly,
yes.
right.
All
yeah,
at your face.
But the most part, it was just depth, and they didn't really use it like on the wide, obviously on the wide epic landscape scenes or cityscape scenes. It was really nice, but most of the camera shots were really close in. You had a lot of close shots, and it just gave a little bit of extra depth to the room and stuff. So
I want to get into some things. I liked the movie a lot. I really, really enjoyed myself watching this movie. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was fun. I thought it had heart. I thought it had amazing action that the 3D just complemented, and I don't think that it was overuse of explosions or loud, obnoxious type of action. Like, everything seemed to be shot really well. I love the photography in this movie. I love sort of the Blade Runner-ish setting of the movie. I thought Rosa Salazar was great in the movie. Great motion capture performance, another one of those. The trailers don't do her justice. The way she looks is a little laughable. When you get the 3D glasses on and you watch it, it's a totally different perspective than what you... Kind of like how Avatar was. It was hard to advertise that movie because you needed to see what it was supposed to be like.
Yeah, the effects really look hollow until they're fleshed out in 3D
it's just a cartoon until you see it in 3D.
And it's not just 3D. It's about the motion capture suit, the motion capture technology. When you have that, like something that you guys I've heard talk about is, does it look like the actor or the person is
the likeness,
light? Yeah. Just, superimposed and sort of roughly feet are kind of moving along as if there might be traction versus an actor who's in a motion capture suit. When you have a real person interacting with other actors and they're just wearing a different costume and it happens to be a 3D skin.
And they're surrounded by
cameras.
I
definitely think they did a good
and
job.
Plus the whole background, they have the real objects, but for the most part the background is CGI as well.
To your point about the great action scenes, I was kind of bored in so many of those action scenes. I
Would
thought
the explosions have been better?
No, not necessarily. I just felt they weren't compelling. They felt...
No real danger.
There wasn't enough danger because you could fix all these people all the
time. You can get your face cut off and be like, I'll get you next time.
The stakes weren't quite established enough with certain characters. Other characters, there are stakes, obviously. I really enjoyed Rosa Salazar's performance. I think she brought a lot of great spunky energy to that character, made her a lot of fun. She was compelling in the beginning when she's trying to figure out who she is. And
they took their time with that, too.
They took their time with that. But a big gripe I had with the movie was all the mysteries or all the things that we're trying to figure out are revealed a little too quickly and too easily in
I
the
agree
film.
with that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of story issues.
You when you're ready.
I'm not saying there's not story issues with the movie. Not at all. Not at all.
But I really like Christoph Waltz as well.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Character development together, their dynamic together was really interesting in the beginning. He falls away in the story at some point. He's not in it much in the later.
He's still trying to figure out a way to pick up that hammer and swing it effectively.
That
is the most worthless weapon I've ever seen.
Yeah, but what does that tell you about the bounties that he's already cashed in?
And needs a rocket jet just to propel it forward.
How bad were the guys that he got? How bad were the guys that he got? Who can they possibly hurt? He just raided the senior citizen home for old criminals, just like bashing them in their heads.
That weapon was so stupid.
Weapon
was so stupid. This is Christoph Waltz. He's just trying to pick this thing up. Turn on the jetpack. Jennifer Connelly. What the fuck did they cast her in this movie for if she's going to do zero in it? Nothing. Like, it could have had a really cool arc, and maybe it wasn't necessary, but then why even have her be that tie-in in the first place. We don't know about the source material. We don't give a shit.
Well, do you mean why have that character, or why cast
why
an actress
why
of her
cast
caliber?
her as an actress
Well,
to give her nothing to do?
Why cast about 7 different actors that show up in this
Right,
movie
yeah.
that don't
Well,
really have
yeah,
much?
yeah.
We won't
Cameo,
give away the
whatever.
cameo that shows up at the end of the film. Big reveal there.
I thought it was going to be Dana Carvey because he looks so much like Garth.
At least that would have got a laugh out of me.
Oh, it still got a laugh out of me. The what did I call him? Like the dime store Joseph Gordon-Levitt kid.
Love
He
it.
was pretty terrible. He was
Pretty terrible.
the worst actor.
Honestly,
in the movie.
when he was introduced into the movie started to fall apart for me. That's when
Because it was cringe.
Yes,
it was so forced and stuff. Yeah.
Because I really liked her, Christoph Waltz, and even the nurse assistant was an interesting character for a few scenes in
Yeah,
the beginning, and
I
then we
agree.
start getting introduced to a few more characters in the movie,
Yeah.
and it started to kind of go
They all
downhill
turn
for
out
me.
to be part of the plot.
Well, then you meet
Yeah.
the roller babies. Millennial version of the roller babies.
Oh my god! Was that the Emilio Estevez movie?
I feel like the last act of the movie was the inevitable setup for future movies.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
This one you really feel it because you're like,
geez.
well, what is the
Lay
climax? It
it
almost
on.
didn't really have a climax.
No, not
They
exactly.
saved the development montage for the end, you know? And they're like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, here's the big fight. And they're like, tune in next time. And I like the roller
It's
derby
choreographed
aspect
beautiful.
to it, the sport that they're playing, the blood
Yeah, it was
sport,
okay. I didn't really.
whatever it
It
is.
seemed really simple.
Yeah,
but
they're just
basically,
like-
it just seems like everyone's trying to kill each other on the track.
like on
Yeah.
skates.
Yeah, I think
which
they
is-
could have done more with.
It is roller derby.
The murder ball, whatever they call it, motor ball. Is that what they called it?
Motor
They
ball.
could've- I mean, it felt like pod racing at times.
I was
It
gonna
was
say,
pod racing,
did
yeah.
did the announcer not sound like the pod racing announcer?
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. And a big turnout.
There's an action scene that takes place in a bar. It's the bar where all the bounty hunters hang out. And I think that was a missed opportunity to have some kind of callback to Desperado, which I think is Robert Rodriguez's best film to date. Second film he ever made, and he hasn't really improved in my opinion, but I do think the film was kind of violent. I mean, most of the people that they're chopping up are robots and cyborgs, so you don't see the blood. There's a few humans who are getting chopped into pieces and stuff.
And
It's
I've
pretty
heard
violent.
that, like, again, we're not comparing this to the source material because none of us have read it, but I did hear it's really, really violent and that she's a very violent character. So I was happy to see she so easily just disposes
Just goes
of
in a
people.
battle mode.
That's that Japanese
Hacks you
animation for
apart.
you.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
some
yeah.
weird shit.
Yeah, it is. But it
No,
it
they're like
worked.
little schoolgirls, and then they have a massive sword, and they will just like chop you in a bit.
Doesn't seem to be getting the punches to the face that Ghost in the Shell did, let's say, for whitewashing. So maybe this one was just more neutral because I don't really know what I think Alita's just a robot and she's not.
I'm
really...
assuming it had to have been whitewashed. If it was manga, they were probably Asian characters. I mean, but it is set in this really interesting Blade Runner, like post-apocalyptic world where you have
It kind of feels like a
multiple
Ready Player One
cultures.
world, kind of.
Yeah, it's like a lot like the Ready
But
Player
this is
One.
like
Yeah.
this is human civilization on Earth in one city,
I know,
according
I
to
know.
But
like
did
the
you guys
narrative
think
at the
it was
beginning.
strange? All the background extras look like people walking around on Santa Monica Pier, like
Yeah.
today. Like what
Exactly,
they were
yeah.
wearing was
Yeah,
like what you would
absolutely the
see
same,
today
yeah.
walking
Yeah.
around at the mall.
And I do like having an entire world that's all CGI'd out for the landscaping part of it.
Me too.
And that way the characters who are also CGI just fit into it. If you take it as a cartoon that happens to have some live characters in it, it was good. But at least the technology has progressed so much that it's not like those Star Wars episode
Yeah.
1, 2, whatever, where it didn't even look real at that time.
That's the thing you can take away from this movie the most if you're going to give a review is you cannot deny how much fucking progress they've made. James Cameron specifically, reason he buys up a property and he never makes the fucking movie because he's waiting for the technology to be right. He does it all the time. Did it with Spider-Man as well. This one, even though he didn't get a chance to direct it, I think it's the tech that he wanted it to be, and you can tell it looks amazing. Good job on them on that stuff. You can't take that away from this movie.
Definitely, I will credit the effects in this movie look excellent. I'm excited to see maybe how they'll progress even into the Avatar, sequels. How this same
The technology.
is used. One thing I was looking forward to though, when we had this moment where she was going to go underwater, because the big selling point of Avatar 2 is that he's
it's
shooting
underwater,
3D underwater scenes. I was expecting that little
Thank
moment
you,
in the
Cameron. Thank you.
Well, I was expecting that little moment that takes place underwater in this film to impress me because they were possibly using the technology
Right,
that
test
he's
it out and stuff.
creating, and almost like the pseudopod from Abyss. Like, put one little scene in this movie to get us excited for what we're going to see in his next film.
Yeah, it's kind of like his test run.
And I was not excited by any.
I liked when she came up, the color and stuff like that. And I agree with you. The underwater was just like, it was just.
I loved it because it starts out like you were saying. It doesn't start with a huge battle or something like that. It builds up a story. It's noir. It's in a dystopic future, and it really does. Every scene is revealing another detail to develop the character, just the backstory of a person who's got amnesia, trying to understand how did I end up in this body.
Robert Rodriguez, who's not a subtle filmmaker in any stretch of the imagination, he did take his time to develop a couple characters, develop a relationship, and add detail after detail in order to get us invested in them.
Exactly.
He doesn't normally do that.
But
I felt like it was paced just right. It wasn't
Cameron
too fast,
having
too
a
slow.
hand in the script.
Probably.
In fact, does he get a screenwriting credit? I didn't even pay
Yes,
attention.
yes.
Does he have a screenwriting
Him and
credit?
somebody else. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that might come from him. Maybe
No,
a
it
little
does, but even still, though, Rodriguez
Rodriguez
could have
deserves
rushed
some
those
credit for
elements.
that. Yeah.
He could have rushed those elements and gotten to the action, but it does take its time, and I was really enjoying how long it took to get to know everybody.
I personally hate when the character development takes too long and they give too much backstory.
Well, yeah, there's
but at the
too
same
much,
time,
yeah.
no. I feel like they did it just right. Good pace, not too fast, not too slow.
And I understand the world that they put me in.
I've understood the world.
Yeah, I understand the rules and
It
the laws
immersed
and
me.
what
Yeah,
happened.
they did a good job of establishing a lot of those various rules.
The Hunter Warriors, I knew what that meant.
Right,
I knew
yeah.
what the laws and
What their
bylaws
jobs
were. And all
were.
that
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, like you feel like you're part of the world.
I was a little bit confused with Mahershala. How do we say his name?
Mahershala Ali. Yeah, I didn't
Mahershala's
understand
Ali's
who he was supposed to
character
be. Yeah.
and, I don't know. There was a little bit of confusion with the motivation of some of the villains in the film. I thought
what was he supposed to
it was
be?
kind of muddled,
Yeah.
but
It's always good
I
to
don't
see
know.
him. He has this intensity to everything he shows up in, but I didn't really get what his purpose was.
I really liked the lead actress. I'd be excited to see other performances, a real performance by her, but she really brought the character to life really well. The film looks excellent. Excited to see how they use this technology moving forward, but as a full 2-hour film-going experience, I was kind of let down. I found moments to be dull that are supposed to be exciting, moments to be laughable at times. So I'm going to give it a 5.25.
I liked it a little bit more than that. I feel like my bar isn't as high, honestly. I liked a lot of things they did well. I took it more as a summer blockbuster action. I appreciate that it was shot in 3D. I really love a lot about what they did with the technology and the CGI and the whole backdrop, the world. Everything was great. It was written pretty well. It wasn't. I wouldn't take it as like film. It wasn't some moving thing that tells me about the human condition or anything like that. But I would definitely give it a good 7. It really did a good job of what it was trying to do, and I would love to see it again in 3D.
Aside from sort of tacked on extra story elements for a movie going forward, possibly, which is what they do with all these big tentpole things now in hopes. Instead of to make a good movie, they just
they leave it open.
They leave it open because they
for
want
the
to start
sequel.
a franchise. And that's unfortunate because this would have gotten such a higher mark for me if it was a self-contained film that had a beginning, middle, end. With room to grow, but not necessarily storylines that are opening in the last 2 minutes.
Leave you
of the
hanging like, oh my god.
But having said that, just like these guys, the technology is fucking amazing. The 3D, I'm so glad we saw it in 3D. I don't like putting those glasses on and paying that extra couple bucks. This one was worth it. This is how you should see this movie, and you should go see it in the theater if you have any interest at all in seeing it, because I don't know how it's going to play out on a TV. I loved Rosa Salazar's character, Christoph Waltz. Love their relationship. Love the heart of this movie. Love the look of it. I'm going 7.5 gulps for me. As always, if you like this review, click like and or subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to see what we're up to next. John, where can they find us?
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Look for us under Cinema Gulp.
Until next time, I'm Ben.
I'm Bobak.
And I'm John.
We drink your cinema.
I drink it up!